Hello everyone, it's time to do another deck profile for Yu-Gi-Oh! This time post Phantom Nightmare Raidraptors. Because we got cool new support, and this is a full-on Raidraptor support, unlike Phantom Rage where it's mixed in with Phantom Knights. Which was still cool, but with this new set of Phantom Nightmare, we have full-on Raidraptor support with, as you can see, a new rank 13. And it just looks awesome. Looks like a mixture of Ultimate Falcon with some Phantom Knight aesthetic. And I just love it. But with this new support, we just got more extending, more plays ever since Phantom Rage, because Phantom Rage gave us a lot of cool new extenders and consistency, but with Phantom Nightmare, just even more searching and consistency. In some ways, we could even take out the original old cards from Arc 5, which are still pretty decent. But other than that, the deck still functions pretty much the same way. It's all about just ranking up your Raidraptors. That's basically all it is. And with the new support, we just have even more consistency with basically startup plays and extensions. The deck just has so much startup and extension, it's insane. It's like you have a non-ending play here. And overall, I just love the deck because mainly for its aesthetic and the playstyle. So the playstyle of the deck, obviously you're going to perform Exceed Summon. Keep one thing in mind is that the Exceed monsters, mainly the low ranking ones, the idea here is that the low ranking ones are going to have low attack but powerful effects. And that's going to be a very big key aspect from the Exceed monsters, because the idea is basically rising from the weak rebellion into strong force. And that's something I really love about Raidraptors. But the other reason why I like Raidraptors is just the character who plays the deck, Shun. He's just cool. Just his development over time. That's why I play the deck. And some people can argue it's Exceed Blackwings, but I still like the deck. But anyway, let's get on with the deck. So let's start with the new cards. First off, Raidraptor Bloom Vulture. This is just an extremely good new card because first off, if you control no monsters or the monsters you control are only winged beasts, you can special summon itself along with another Raidraptor from your hand. That's 2 summons, giving you basically an Exceed summon right there. What's not to love? And in the other effect, if you control no monsters while this card's in the graveyard, you can choose 2 Raidraptor monsters, including itself, and special summon both of them. Yeah, what's not to love? You get to extend your plays, you can even do some recovery with this card. But you mainly use this for the first effect because of course it special summons itself along with another Raidraptor monster, but it's also very nice that you get a recovery play here, which the deck can lack sometimes because it requires setup. But this is just so good because of that and why you run 3. Next, Raidraptor Nors Lunius, which has the effect where when this card is no more special summon, you can target 1 Raidraptor monster you control, search from your deck 1 Raidraptor with a different level from that monster, and add it to your hand, which is of course going to extend your play. The only gripe I do have a bit with this card is the fact that you have to search a card with different level from your chosen monster. But luckily, we got a few other monsters that are from the main deck that are actually decent to that are not level 4. But another thing is that you could just target a Exceed monster and just search a level 4, which is also pretty nice. So overall, it's just a play extender and it searches up your pieces, which is actually really good. Which of course your search piece can just make your plays from there. And then the next effect is that if this card's in the graveyard, you can banish this card to basically increase or decrease all Raidraptor monsters level by 1, which is helpful sometimes, especially since you do have rank 5s in this deck. So that's pretty nice as well, but you mainly do it for the first effect. So that's it for the new main deck monsters. Just to continue on with the old lineup, Raidraptor Tribulunius, you only use this for the first effect where when on summon, you can Foolish Burial Raidraptor card from your deck, which is going to combo off with this other card, Mimicry Lunius, where during the turn it got sent to the graveyard, because you send it there, you can banish it to add 1 Raidraptor card from your deck to your hand. So the idea is that you would Foolish Burial this card with Tribulunius, and then what you would do is banish the Mimicry Lunius to do another search. That's why you run both of these. I've seen people cut this down to 2 or 1 because there is now ways to recycle this, but I still personally love to have at least 2 just to do the search much more consistent. Because if it's in your hand, it's gonna suck. But in that, you just mainly use these 2 cards just for that reason. And another reason is Mimicry Lunius, on summon you can increase all Raidraptor monsters you control by 1, their levels. So you can make them all level 5 for a rank 5 play, but you're not really going to do that, but sometimes you will. And then next, 2 copies of Raider's Wing. This card is pretty good because as Exceed material, that Exceed monster cannot be targeted by card effects, which is going to give them protection, especially your lower ranking ones. But the other good effect is that you can detach 1 Exceed material from on the field to special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. But of course, if it's as Exceed material, you're not going to be able to banish it. So this is just really good to extend plays and also gives your Raidraptor some protection. And this is still treated as a Raidraptor card because despite not being in the name, it is still treated as a Raidraptor card on its text. And this is basically a combination of Phantom Knights and Raidraptors. And then for another Phantom Rage support, we got Raidraptor Strange Lunius, which has the effect of if you control a dark monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, but you are only restricted to summoning dark monsters for the rest of the turn. And then the other effect is that you can special summon a level 4 lower Raidraptor monster from your graveyard, which is of course going to extend plays. It's special summon itself, plus do another special summon from the graveyard, which is of course going to be even more play extension. What's not to love? And then I still love to play this lineup of 2 Vanishing Lunius, still pretty cool play extension and startup play, where during the turn you normal special summon it, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Raidraptor monster from your hand. Of course, this is a startup play, and keep this one in mind, it's during the turn you summon it. So during the turn you summon it, you can perform that 1 special summon during the exact same turn. It doesn't have to be right off the bat. Some people can confuse the text with this, but just keep this in mind with Vanishing Lunius. So in some cases, you might be able to search another piece and then perform Vanishing Lunius's effect. Even if it's already been used as Exceed material, you can still use the effect because it's activated on summon, where you can perform a special summon during the turn. So this is still a good startup play, which is why I still like to run it. And then one card I am thinking about taking out, since there is a lot of play extension, but there's one effect I do like, is Fuzzy Lunius, where if you control a Raidraptor, you can special summon this card, and if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add another copy from your deck to your hand. That's why I kind of like this card. The thing I don't like about this card is if you use any of its effect, you are restricted to summon Raidraptor monsters for the rest of the turn. Luckily, my whole entire deck is Raidraptor, so this is fine, and I do like the search capability, but I don't like that restriction sometimes because it can hinder what other type of monsters you like to summon for the deck. Like if you want to play something like Dark Rebellion or Dark Requiem, because Phantom Rage support onwards is all basically Raidraptors restricted to Dark. This is the only one that is still restricted to Raidraptors. So that's the only thing I don't really like about this card. But other than that, I do like the search capability and play extension here because that 1 extra card you add to your hand can be very helpful to make your plays. And then I played the 1 Singing Lunius, where if you control a Exceed monster, you can special summon from hand, play extension. And then here's the card that will be Search for Nor Lunius, Pain Lunius, where you can target 1 Raidraptor monster you control, special summon it. Of course, you're only restricted to summon Wing Beast for the rest of the turn, and this card's level becomes the same as that chosen monster, and you take damage equal to its attack or defense. Obviously, choose the lower one, but they're all basically level 4s, and this could make itself into a level 4, which is actually pretty nice, and which is why it's a search target for Nor's Lunius. I am thinking about running the level 3, because the level 3 can search, and you do have a Link monster in this deck, but sometimes I don't like the hindrance that it's a level 3, so that's why I decided to just stick with Pain Lunius. And then finally, just because I kind of still like the play, I play the Last Strix because you can tribute it to special summon 1 Raidraptor Exceed monsters from your extra deck in defense, with its effects negated, but the purpose of that is basically play a rank up on it. And I still kind of like to do the play with it, so I just run it. But the second effect is that when your opponent's monster attack, you can special summon this card, and for every face-up spell and trap card you control, you gain 100 life, but you don't really do it for that. You really do it to cheat out the Raidraptors. So that's it for the monster lineup. Time for the spells. Raidraptor's Nest. This card is still really good because it helps your search. Because if you control 2 or more Raidraptor monsters, you can add 1 Raidraptor monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is really nice. And then for a new card, Raidraptor's Boost. This card is very good for the deck because, as you can tell, there's a lot of play extension, and meaning you're going to be using a lot of cards. Because with this card, if a Raidraptor monster is special summoned from the extra deck, except during damage step, you can add 1 Raidraptor spell and trap from your deck to your hand, which is pretty nice. You have a good number. But the second effect is that you can choose up to 3 Raidraptor cards that are in your graveyard and or banish, because you are going to banish a lot. Shuffle them back to the deck and draw a card. This is basically a continuous spell pot of avarice for Raidraptors, which is desperately needed because Raidraptors go through the deck really quickly of monsters, and it's really nice that you have a recycling card now, especially Mimicry Luneus. Mimicry Luneus is just going to banish itself through its own effect, and just being able to recycle that just to send it back to the graveyard, it's just really good. So this card is a must play, and it's very needed. And then for the rank up spells, so first off we got Skip Force, which can rank a Raidraptor up by 2, and you can banish it along with another Raidraptor monster, special summon 1 Raidraptor Exceed monster from your graveyard, except during the turn you activate the Skip Force. So that's pretty nice, and it's one of your OG ways to cheat out your Raidraptors with the last tricks, but ranking up by 2 is still pretty nice. And then we got this one, Rank Up Magic the Phantom Knight Force, which is from Phantom Rage. I might bump this back up to 3 and cut down 1 Skip Force, because during your main phase, you can banish as many dark monsters from your graveyard and target 1 Exceed monster you control. Rank up that 1 monster equal to the amount of monsters you banish. So if you banish 1, you rank it up by 1. If you banish 2, rank it up by 2, and so on. And this is one of the ways where you can go from rank 4 to rank 10 or 12, usually to rank 10, because your first turn play doesn't usually give you enough monster, but it was one of your ways from going from rank 4 Strix to a rank 10 Ultimate Falcon. And that's why I'm thinking about running this back at 3. It's just really good for that purpose, and it's a quick play, which makes it very searchable thanks to the Link monster. And that's why you still must run this. And then for a new rank up card, Rise Rank Up Magic Raidraptor's Force. So it's another quick play, which makes it searchable. So its ability is that during the main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can target 2 Raidraptor monsters from your graveyard along with 1 Raidraptor on your field. Special summon the 2 from your graveyard and then use all 3 of them as a material to rank up for 1 monster to the total rank. So basically, you choose 1 Raidraptor monster from the field, which probably will be a rank 4, along with 2 Raidraptors from your graveyard. Add those ranks up together and use all 3 monsters as Exceed materials to basically do a rank up Exceed change to summon one of your big Raidraptor monsters, aka will probably be the rank 13. So you basically add up from rank 4, rank 4, rank 5, you make rank 13, or rank 4, rank 4, rank 4, rank 12. That's basically how this card works. Of course, this is only a 1-up because this is more of a tech card than anything, but there's just so many ways that you're just going to get those Raidraptors from your graveyard that it's just insane that you could actually just play this on your very first turn as well. But you mainly use this to summon the rank 13, and it's more so like a tech option than anything, and either way, it's pretty good because it's a good recovery option as well. And then finally, for the last rank up card, which is a recovery play, Rank Up Magic Shade Force, where you can pay half your life points to special summon 1 Raidraptor Exceed monster from your graveyard to rank it up by 2. It's just very helpful because sometimes you will just need this last minute play, and this card has saved me multiple occasions, so I just like to use it. And there's also last minute draw reasons as well. And then finally, for the last spell, I play Wings Requital, which if you control 2 Wing Beast monsters, you can pay 800 life to draw 2 cards. It's just there for more draw and extra consistency. I might even bump this up to 3. Finally, for the traps, Raidraptor Readiness. I still like this card because the turn you activate the card, your Raidraptor monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle, and if you control Raidraptor monster from your graveyard, you can banish this card and you take no damage for the rest of the turn. It's just kind of nice for some protection, even though it's not completely necessary, but I kind of just like it. And then finally, Raidraptor Final Glorious Pride, the Ultimate Falcon Attack. So if you control a Raidraptor monster, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent control, or if you control an Exceed monster, you can target any card your opponent controls, negate its effect into the end of the turn. And then the second effect is that if this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it to basically return one of your banish or graveyard Raidraptor cards to your hand. It's just pretty nice, and it's a searchable negate, so I just kind of like it. So that's it for the main deck lineup. Time for the extra deck. So first off, we're going to start off with Raidraptor Wise Strix. Requires 2 Dark Wing Beasts. And on Link Summon, you can special summon 1 level 4 Dark Wing Beast from your deck in defense with its effects negated. This is of course play extension, which is going to be very nice. But the second part is the main effect, where when a Raidraptor Exceed monster activates effect, you can set 1 rank up magic quick play spell from your deck to your spell and trap card zone, and you can still activate it at the same turn. That's why your rank up magic quick plays are very important to search, and why it's very important to keynote that which ones are quick play, because those are going to be, of course, making your plays. So the idea is that you would do an Exceed summon, mainly with 4 Strix, activate the effect, use Y Strix to search up rank up magic the Phantom Knight Force, so you can actually just once when your graveyard is set up, just play it and then just rank your Y Strix up to 10. That's the main reason why you run this card and why this card is just so good that you just have to run 2 of it, because it's just your startup and play extension. Next, I run 2 4 Strix. I might bump this back up to 3 because it requires 2 level 4 monsters, and once per turn, you can detach 1 material to search up for 1 Dark Winged Beast from your deck to your hand that is level 4, and gains 500 attack and defense for every Winged Beast monster you control, which is going to be a decent amount of defense, not much attack because it's 100 attack, but you mainly use it for the search and just basically your rank up target, because you activate this effect, Y Strix activates, and then your Y Strix searches up your rank up, and then you're going to just rank this up later. Continue off, this is the first main boss monster of the deck, and I still like it. Raidraptor Rise Falcon. First off, it can attack all your opponent's special summon monsters. Keep in mind it's 100 attack, which is of course going to be a weak monster with a powerful effect. Which the powerful effect is that you can detach 1 material, target 1 monster your opponent controls. This card gains attack equal to that monster's attack, which just basically means target the highest monster and then run over everything. If it had the anime effect, it would have been only until the end phase, so luckily it doesn't have that part, but it gains every special summon monster attack in the anime, which might be too OP. But yeah, this can run over everything, which is something I like. And if you have Raider's Wing, this will have card effect protection from targeting anyway. And then the final rank 4 I play is Raider's Knight, because Raider's Knight is your rank up to rank 5 by detaching 1 material. In which the main target I like to go for Raider's Knight is Brave Strix, where the effect is that an Exceed monster that has this card as material gets 100 attack for each of its ranks. So higher ranks is definitely going to be higher attack. But the second effect is that you can detach 1 material and you can search for 1 Raidraptor spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Or you can detach 1 material to search up for 1 rank up spell from your deck to your hand. Still, both effects are pretty good, but you mainly use this for the search, but not every spell and trap needs to be searched, so you only run this as a 1-of, and it's a rank 5, which is another hindrance, and you have multiple ways to search up your rank of magics. And then the other rank 5 target I like, which could technically be replaced but I still want to go full on Raidraptor, is Blaze Falcon. First off, you can summon this with 3 level 5 Winged Beasts, which is possible, but I love this card mainly for this effect. You can detach 1 material to Regeki your opponent's field of special summon monsters, which are usually going to be all special summon, and they take 500 points of damage for each 1 destroyed. That's a very powerful effect and I just love it. And then the other effect is that if it has a material, you can attack your opponent directly, and if this card deals damage to your opponent, you choose 1 of your opponent's monsters and it gets destroyed. I just love it overall that you can just run over your opponent's monsters. And then to my personal favorite Falcons, I go for the Revolution Falcon with the Air Raid. So, idea here is that you would go to Air Raid first, and then when Air Raid gets destroyed, you would summon Revolution Falcon. I might take out the Air Raid just for regular Revolution Falcon, because I find Revolution Falcon a little better. Because on Air Raid, on summon, which that timing can be very crucial, you can destroy 1 of your opponent's monsters, and if it's a face-up monster, deal damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's attack, which is actually pretty nice. And the key thing about Air Raid is that you can discard 1 rank of spell and use a rank 5 or lower Raidraptor Exceed monster to summon this card. That's another nice thing about this card, is that you can use any of the rank up spells, and you're not activating the rank up spells, so meaning that you can activate some graveyard effects. But if Air Raid gets destroyed, you summon the Revolution Falcon, which the Revolution Falcon will get the material of Air Raid and has these effects. So first off, it has the Exceed monster as material. You can once per turn choose 1 of your opponent's monsters, destroy it, and your opponent takes half the attack as damage, which is pretty nice. But the other thing I like is that any special summon monsters that this card battles, it becomes 0. And you can also detach 1 material to attack all monsters your opponent controls. This is pretty nice because it means that in battle, this is going to be tough to get rid of, especially if you have Raider's Knight attached where it cannot be targeted by card effects. So by battle, area special summon monster that battles this is 0. That's why I love Revolution Falcon. It's my personal favorite Falcon, just to OTK your opponent. To continue the rank up, we got Arsenal Falcon, which with its name, Arsenal, you can detach one material to special summon one level 4 winged beast from your deck, which is, of course, going to be your play extension. But the other part is that this card can attack as many times as Exceed materials it has, which can also be pretty nice. But you mainly use this for the special summon effect for the most part. But the other effect that you'll be using this for is that if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Raidraptor Exceed monster from your extra deck, and then you put this card for that card as material. So this card sent to the graveyard, summon your Ultimate Falcon, and then just use this card as material. Why not? And then we go to Satellite Cannon Falcon, which on rank up summon, you can Harpy Feather Duster your opponent's field, and your opponent cannot activate in response to this effect. And the other effect is that you can detach one material to target one monster your opponent controls. It loses 800 attack for every Raidraptor monster in your graveyard, which is going to be a lot because there's a lot of extension. But overall, you just use this for basically further rank up plays. In which we go to the Ultimate Falcon, which is unaffected by card effects. You can detach one material to make sure your opponent cannot activate any cards or effects for the rest of the turn, and everything loses 1,000 attack on your opponent's side of the field, which is going to be pretty nice. And then at the end phase, if you have a Raidraptor Exceed monster as material, you can make your opponent take 1,000 points of damage, but if they control a monster, all your opponent's monsters loses 1,000 attack, which is going to be pretty nice, and it's going to be permanent, so that is pretty good. But this is mostly the Ultimate Brick Wall Falcon. In which we go to Final Fortress Falcon. Personally, I say the effect is not as good as Ultimate Falcon, but it's one of the easier ones to summon now, so that's why I decided to run this. Because first off, when you have a Raidraptor Exceed monster as material, this card is unaffected by card effects, so unlike Ultimate Falcon, this one has a condition to it. But the second effect is that you can detach one material to put all the banished Raidraptor's cards back to the graveyard, which can be very helpful sometimes, because that means that you can go for the Phantom Knight Force once again. And the third effect is that when this card destroys a monster by battle, you can banish one Raidraptor monster from your graveyard to make it attack again, and you can use this effect twice. And yeah, the multi-attack with 3,800 attack is not too bad, but personally, it's not the best Falcon, I would have to say, but it's one of the easier ones to summon now. So that's why I decided to run this at 1. And finally, to the new Ultimate Falcon, Rising Rebellion Falcon. It's unaffected by card effects, 4,000 attack. It's rank 13, so keep that one in mind. And then it also has the effect where on Exceed summon, nuke your opponent's board. And if you have 3 Exceed monsters as material for this, burn your opponent's life points equal to the monster's attacks that you destroyed. Yeah, so on summon, you can nuke your opponent's board. This is a 4,000 attack already, but if you have 3 materials that are Exceed monsters, which you can use with Rise Rank of Magic, burn your opponent as well. Yeah, that can kill your opponent already. But it also has a third effect, which this is more situational in my opinion, where you can use 3 Exceed materials to copy one Raidraptor Exceed monster's effect from your graveyard. You have pretty decent targets, like Revolution Falcon, where you could just straight up, if you need to, attack your opponent's board and make them all 0. Some cases Ultimate Falcon to just burn your opponent at the end phase. Arsenal Falcon if you still have good enough materials. Rise Falcon too, you have pretty good targets. But overall, I really like this new Falcon. Clearly, the Ultimate Rebellion Falcon. I just love this card, and it's rank 13. And I'm really happy they decided to make this, because it's one of those rare rank 13s that we get to see. So that's it for my new deck profile, my updated Raidraptors deck post Phantom Nightmare. What do you guys think of it? And what other changes would you like to make, or what other cards would you guys recommend? Personally, I kind of like the pure Raidraptor build as it is. I like to play things in pure style, hence why you see basically everything Raidraptor. But other than that, I really love this deck. I love the deck ever since it was introduced, especially since the character who plays it, I just like his character as well. Shun is very cool, and I like his character development, so that's why I play Raidraptors. And I found this archetype pretty awesome as well. I love the style of it. Weak monsters with powerful effects. Hence why I decided to play it. And personally, no regrets, and I have fun with this deck ever since the beginning. And now with all the new support from Phantom Rage and Phantom Nightmare, especially from Phantom Rage, that gave it a lot of consistency, and now Phantom Nightmare giving it even more consistency, this deck is just much more awesome. And especially that we got actual Raidraptor Exceed monsters, I just love it. I am thinking about playing the Dark Rebellion stuff in this deck, because because there is now some consistency in putting both styles as one, especially on the what if scenario if Shun decided to play the Dark Rebellion stuff. So I was thinking of running the Dark Rebellion and taking out the Fuzzy Lunius because Raidraptor restriction, so just make Dark restriction. But in that, I still really like the deck how it functions. Basically makes a lot of plays and cool big birds. They all look really cool and menacing. They're very small but powerful effects. But in that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.